friends, and welcome to the Warminster Township Free Library's Little Gardeners program. During the course of this 5-day series, we're going to learn a little bit about the parts of plants, how to keep your plants strong and healthy, as well as all the little critters who help along the way. Today, we're going to be learning about the people who study plants and living things and what they do. So let's get started. So let's first start with a question. Does anyone know what we call a person who studies plants? Now you can pause this video and have a discussion with your parent or grown-up. Oh, these are great predictions, and maybe you figured it out. We call that person a botanist, or someone who studies botany. Botany is the study or science of plants. Exactly, it's all about plants. And now that I think about it, maybe I should have called this program the Little Botanists. And as always, we're a part of a library, so you should have expected this. We're going to read a story to start with that'll help build a foundation from which we can build on each week. So don't let the name fool you for our first story. This book is called Botany for Babies. But it's not just for babies, as you will see. This is a great book to start with. It builds a foundation, and then on top of it, each day we're going to be building on that. And you'll see as we read our story today that there's a lot of things that we're going to be talking about in the weeks and the days to come. All right, so let's get started with Botany for Babies. But not just for babies. Plants are all around us, so let's explore their colorful world. So we're going to talk a little bit about plants. We're going to build that foundation, remember? So what are different kinds of plants? Maybe you see it in our story, or maybe you go outside and you see it. Yeah, we've got some trees over here. Those are definitely plants. And maybe outside in your garden you have beautiful flowers that are different colors. What about fruits and vegetables? Are those plants? Oh yeah, they are. Absolutely. Fruits and vegetables. And you will see some of them in the rest of our story as well as the weeks to come. It all starts with a seed. Now tomorrow we're going to be talking a little bit about seeds and kind of going in depth about what makes up a seed. So this is a really good primer because it starts with a seed or a baby plant. Seeds come in lots of shapes and sizes. So some of them have little points at the end. Some of them are really fluffy like this dandelion seed. And if you've ever seen a dandelion, you could blow them away. Some of them are really big like these. You might have ones that are about this size, like walnut seeds or acorns, which are just a little bit bigger. Seeds inside of fruits and vegetables, like the pits of a peach, or in an avocado. They're pretty big. So some are big and some are small. And some you can eat and some you can't. Now from those seeds, shoots grow up into the sunlight. And these are the beginning parts of maybe a stem of a flower or the trunk of a tree. And roots grow down to collect water and nutrients. So just like, any plant, there are roots and they go deep into the soil. So they're going deep into the soil. They'll suck up some water, but also the nutrients that are in the ground here. Think of them as little vitamins and things that, not only do we need nutrients and vitamins, but so do plants. They need specific ones and they get them from the soil. Things like potassium and nitrogen. These are big words. But just think of it as, special food for plants. Now, some shoots grow taller than others. Some are really tall like this tree, which can be many stories high. And some are not as tall, but still pretty tall, like our sunflower. And our sunflower is like this. They have a stem here, and they've got leaves, and some of them can grow even taller than you and me. And then, of course, we have daffodils, which is a kind of flower, and you might have seen them in March and April. And they don't grow nearly as tall. They might be only 2 or 3 feet, if they get that tall even. So it just depends. There's all different flowers and different plants in between. Some don't even grow past an inch. Just depends on what seed they came from. Roots hold plants tightly in the ground. Absolutely. So those roots are there to anchor those plants down so that when there is a big windstorm, they don't blow away or fly away, or they need to stick into the soil. They like where they're at, so they'll cling on. Now, some of these roots are things that we eat. Do you notice anything that we eat? You might have guessed it, a carrot or a beet over here. So there are roots that we eat, and then of course there are roots that we don't eat, like the roots of these flowers or grass or trees. Absolutely. Now, on day 3, we're going to talk about something called composting, and that really has a lot to do with our worm here. But our worm helps to create the soil to be really rich and nutritious for our plants. Our worms, they will aerate by creating little tunnels throughout the soil, but they also like to eat certain things in here, and animals and insects, after they eat something, they have to go to the bathroom too. So their poop is really nutritious for our plants. So it's like a cycle. Everything goes around, and these plants can live off of those really rich nutrients from poop sometimes. Now, trees are tall plants with strong trunks. Animals can live in them. So yes, we'll have lots and lots of different plants that you might see. So when we're done with this program, maybe you can go around and look for different plants and see what different trees, maybe, and some of these are, pine trees and maples and oak trees and lark. Yeah, so lots and lots of trees. Now, leaves use sunlight to create energy and food for plants to grow. So this is a really, really scientific process called photosynthesis. Basically, sunlight is converted or changes into energy inside plants. Plants can do this amazing thing where they just bask in the sun, and they can take that sun and turn it into energy. We can't do that. We need food for energy. Now, plants can do that with just the sun. Now, they still need nutrients from good soil and water, of course. Now, some plants grow flowers, and not every plant does. So some grow flowers and some don't. It just depends. Bees take pollen from flower to flower so the plants can make the seeds. They need that pollen to make the seeds. We call these types of insects pollinators, and we're going to learn more about pollinators in day 5. So hold on tight with that one. Fruits grow on some plants and trees. Do you guys know what fruit this is? An apple, absolutely. Fruits contain seeds. So inside an apple, you have those seeds. Maybe you don't end up eating the whole core of the apple, but the seeds are in there. Absolutely. And if you have an apple from an orchard, maybe you plucked an apple from a tree, and you ate your apple but left the core and the seeds and you threw it out, it could become another plant. And seeds grow into plants. And that's pretty amazing. Ta-da! So as you can see, we talked about a lot of things with our book. In a moment, we're going to come back and discuss how botanists are able to study plants and what they need to do. By reading our story, I feel like we have a better idea of what a botanist does. Botany is a kind of science, and just like other science disciplines, we have to use our 5 senses to help us explore and investigate. So what are our 5 senses? Well, sight, being able to see, smell, touch, taste, and hearing. So, when we were reading the book, what senses did we use? Well, let's look at a book. Okay, I just gave it to you. Looking, sight, observation. And that's one of the, principles, 6 principles of science as well, observing. So we can observe, let's look at our seeds here. We can observe and look at these seeds and know that they're different. Some are fluffy, some are pointy, some are round, and some are not. So that's really helpful. We need to be able to observe the world around us. Now the best example is, let us go to our tree example. I almost gave it away earlier, but we want to observe maybe the different kinds of leaves that grow on trees. Some have little pointy edges, like our maple, and some are a little bit more smooth, like the one over here. Some, like the pine, have little sticks that come out of them, or pine cones. And these are all things that we can observe in nature to determine what kind of plant we're like seeing, or we're able to touch. I gave one away. Did you guys hear that one? Another thing you can do to observe nature and to become a botanist is touch. Touch. Absolutely. Now, you do need to be extra careful when you're in nature. There are some plants out there that you should never touch. So before you touch anything, ask your mom or your dad, or maybe do a little bit of research. Try to identify it by using your sight first. Now, trees are usually going to be okay, like these maples and these oak trees. So touching is important because, let's go back to our seed page, page 2. Seeds, when you hold onto a seed, some are rough and some are not. Some are very smooth and some are fluffy. That can help you identify different seeds and what plants they may become. Absolutely. What other types of senses do we use when observing nature? Let's think. Hearing, maybe that doesn't apply as much, right? We really can't hear our plants, but you could do that with birds, right? Maybe a bird call is going to be different between two different types of birds, so you can hear the difference between birds. Now, on day 5, can you hear bees? Oh yeah, you can. Buzzing bees. So that could help you with that to observe, you know, nature and all the things around you, but not necessarily plants. It'll help you with the bees, absolutely. So that would be hearing. So there's 2 more. Smell. Oh, absolutely. Not every plant has a scent, but some do, and some have a really strong scent that you can really smell. An example of that is mint or lavender. These have very strong scents, or even rosemary, an herb that we eat. So some things have that very pungent, big word, a very strong scent. So that can help us identify plants and observe the world around us. Absolutely. The last one is taste. And a good example of that is, let me pull over to our fruit. Yes, taste could help you. If you've never seen an apple before, but you knew what it tastes like, you could try it and you might know. But again, anything in nature, you want to make sure you know what it is before you try anything. It's really, really important to always ask your parents, do some research before you taste anything out in nature, because there are things out there that are not edible, meaning that you can't eat them. And there are things out there that you shouldn't touch. Very important to know that. So, you want to use your eyes and maybe your sense of smell before you use the other types of senses when it comes to nature. Just because there are things out there that you shouldn't be eating. But that doesn't mean that if your parents don't give you an apple, you couldn't eat it. If your parents are okay with you eating an apple, then that's fine. Just depends where you're getting it from, and make sure to ask your mom or your dad before you try anything. Okay, especially when we're in nature. Okay, so those are the 5 senses and how they apply to botany and the botanists, those who study plants. In a moment, we're going to come back with our first activity. Welcome back, friends. So now that we know a little bit more about botany and botanists, we learned about the importance of observation. So in your kits for this week, we have a handout. It's a nature scavenger hunt. So our task to you is to go outside. You can either go into your garden, your very own garden. You can go outside the library if you're visiting us, or maybe go to a Warminster park and go and see how many of these little things you can find in nature. Go for a walk. See how many of them you can identify. You can make it a game. You can make it a little bingo sheet if you want and see if you can collect all of them, or maybe just go in a line. So in a moment we'll come back and I'm going to go outside and I'll do a little bit with you before we move on to our final activity for the day. Welcome back, friends, to our observation activity. You can see I am outside our library sitting at our picnic bench. And so I already found a few things just from a quick search around, and so I have them highlighted. I actually found a feather I was very excited to find. Here it is. I found this right on our front lawn here, which is crazy. It's amazing what you'll find if you start looking around. I also found some flowers behind me. We have some beautiful yellow daylilies, and so I saw those. And I can't see any birds, but I hear them. So I put that down because we were talking about observation, and that's utilizing our five senses, and hearing is one of them. So as I mentioned, I could hear our birds. I even found a really big Y-shaped branch. Whoa! As well as, now I didn't find anything that was blue or purple, but I did find something that was red, which I thought was really cool. It's a false strawberry. And I did find a very circular rock. And that was just after just 5 minutes of looking around our outside garden. So imagine what it would be like if you went to a local park and searched for like a half hour, or just, see if you can find all of these things. It's amazing what you might find if you just start looking around. So feel free to share with us all the different things that you found in your garden and in your yard. You can share with us on Facebook at Warminster Library, or on Twitter or Instagram. We would love to see all the things that you were able to spy and see and observe in nature. In a moment, we'll be coming back with our final activity, our planters, our decorating our planters. So stay tuned. For our final activity today, we're going to be decorating our pot. And this will be helpful for the future classes that we're going to be doing, because we're going to be planting seedlings tomorrow, as well as creating a seed ball. And these are all things that can go into our little pot when we're done. So we're going to decorate. And here are the things that you're going to need. So if you've picked up a kit here at the library, your kit will include a cup. Now you're going to want to fill that with water. It's going to come with a brush like this, 2 paints, though you can add whatever paint you would like, a paper plate like this, and a ceramic pot. You'll also have some Q-tips, so that way you can create, different designs with that if you don't want to use the brush. And make sure that you also have paper towels with you, okay? Now, some things that you might want to do is, we are providing you with red and blue paint. You can mix them to create a purple if you'd like. And do keep in mind that some of these are acrylic, so please wear a smock or roll up your sleeves. So let's design some sort of design for our pot here, for our plant. So what I'm going to do is, I think I'm going to create a little flower using the Q-tips. So we'll open up that, and I'm going to use a Q-tip, and I'm going to design, maybe do some dots. And there we go. So I have a little flower, and maybe I'll drag this down to kind of create. Oh, you know what? I think I'm going to make the little petals a little bit bigger. And then what's great is you can use the other side to do the center. And I didn't open up my blue, so I'm going to do that. Maybe you could, write your name on it. That would be a good idea. Maybe that's what I'll do next in blue. Just like that, I created a little flower. Again, you can mix these if you'd like. I'm going to do now maybe my name up here, Miss Anne. I think I'm just going to do Anne. And again, you can use the Q-tip or you can use the brush, whatever you want to do. I'm going to write my name, A, N, N. So I know that this one is mine. There we go. And then, maybe I will, this time around, mix the colors together. I'll just add a little bit of blue. It does take a while to come out, so you can keep going and doing whatever it is you want. Okay, I'll just add a little blue. And there we go. little bit of red. And then you can use another Q-tip, or you can use your brush to mix them together to kind of create another color. Do you guys know what color we're going to be making? I think you guys figured it out. Yeah. Purple, right? And you might need to add a little bit more red. I'm going to make a dark purple right here. So I just created a dark purple. So now I can draw something else. Maybe I will draw a house. A purple house, because I like that idea. So now this is an opportunity for you guys to be creative and to design whatever you would like. And again, feel free to add your very own kind of spin to it. So I just kind of did a little, it looks like a little bit more like a lighthouse. I might have to add some red detailing in a little bit once it dries. And so feel free to let things dry, come back with some more paint, add different paints. So if you have yellows and greens at home, you can add to this. You could do other flowers. You can just do dots if you'd like. So you can just do little dots. This is an opportunity for you guys to be as creative as you'd like with your very own potted plant. And then we're going to be able to add something to it tomorrow once we create our seedlings. And especially once the seedlings are, we're going to learn about this tomorrow, a few inches, then you can transport it into this. And once it's too big for this, you can transport it outside and so on. But this is an opportunity for that. Now do notice that this one has a little hole in the bottom, so when you add your dirt into it, you might want to put this onto a little dish so when you add water to your plant, as we talked about, plants need water and sunlight, that way the water doesn't just go everywhere. So we can add our little dots. Alright. So just like that, you guys can create, and paint and decorate your very own potted plant for the plants that we're going to be planting and growing from seeds during the week. Okay, guys, this is our final activity. We hope you enjoyed, this video, and we'll be back tomorrow learning about seeds and seedlings. Bye, everyone.